So before I continue, please confirm whether my audio is visible and screen is shared. Audio is audible and screen is shared.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir. Your audio is also good, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So this is the brief agenda for this session. So we'll be starting with an introduction on why we are discussing about AI and LLMs. Then we'll move on to the basics of artificial intelligence and large language models, followed by how LLMs actually work, how they are fascinating, and how they are that much great in terms of their applications and all. Then we'll discuss about where can we actually use LLMs in general. Then, of course, aligning with the theme of this FDP, so I want to have a brief discussion about where we can use LLMs in teaching and learning process. Then we'll have a small hands-on, maybe as it is an online session, you may not be doing it parallelly, but I'll do it. You can try it out later. If there are any hiccups or something, maybe we'll clarify that in tomorrow's session. So, and finally, we'll be discussing about what ethical and practical considerations we need to focus on while we implement AI or LLMs in education sector. And we'll end up with a brief question and answer session if you have any. So to my knowledge, as per the inputs I received from Kamesh sir, so you have a pack of participants from different domains. Not everyone is from computer science. So I designed the presentation such that so it will be understandable and interesting for both computer science and non-computer science faculty members. So we have something to take for everyone here. Yeah, so those who are not joined from mobiles, please open your mobiles, scan this QR code and join that link, please. So it just takes a couple of seconds only. I strictly discourage people who logged in from mobiles because you won't be looking at the team screen while you log it in. But if you are comfortable, they also can do it. Open your mobile. If you have Google Lens or any QR code scanner, please scan this QR. And join. If I'll give some 10 seconds for this activity so that we'll get maximum people online. So instead of asking you to unmute and mute, I think this is a kind of easier approach I found. So maybe one thing you can incorporate in your classrooms, not just online. Not everybody is enthusiastic to raise and voice their opinions while we are teaching. So Slido is one best thing we can have in classroom presentations also. Just students can scan through their mobiles and give their answers through this. I even usually conduct surprise quizzes in my classroom through this app itself. So we have around 160 people in this session. I hope at least some of them could able to join. If you don't have any QR code scanner, please go to that slido.com. Then there you can type this code 1154864. In both the ways you can join this. So after joining, please don't close that window. Keep that open until the end of this session because we have questions in between that require again to scan and participate. So you can save time there. So hope we have some people ready. So I just want to establish the context here. So please answer this question yes or no on your mobiles from where you joined slido.com. So I just want to see how many of you think AI can replace educators in near future. Of course, maybe this question is relevant to most of the sectors, not just educators, but as we have educators in the session today, let us see. So 27, 28 people already voted. Okay. That's it. Okay. So good number of people are there on Slido. Good to see that. Because in online FDPs, usually we see that most of the people just sign in and leave. So the situation here is not like that. I'm pretty happy about it. Fine. So as we have the opinion of around 42 faculty members here, so around 76 people think that AI is going to replace educators in near future. Only 26% of people are thinking that it cannot. So maybe this is a kind of a tricky question because I'll go with both yes and no. So maybe in this session, by the end of this session, we'll learn how AI can take our role, how AI can't take our role. So both we'll discuss about today. So we need not worry, I think. Nobody is going to take our jobs, but certainly we have to adopt or change our strategies along with the presence of AI. Otherwise, maybe our jobs will be at stake, or roles in the institute will be at stake. So let's go ahead. So AI, in particular LLMs, just a second, let me pick up the laser pointer here. Yeah. So they definitely shift the way education is being uh, taken up or thought these days. But to my understanding or to my knowledge, they're not going to replace educators in any near future. Of course, we have news across the world saying that in China, they created an AI educator. In Harvard, they even teaching a course completely based on AI educators. But if you look at all those things, in all those places, AI is taking classes online, not in a physical mode. So for customized online learning, definitely AI is good. But for classroom teaching and learning, an educator, physical educator is always necessary. That human touch, nobody can replace. We already seen that in the post-COVID era. Even though we are having these FDPs and other things online, so you can see still I'm physically presenting it to you. Even if you make it with the help of AI or something, maybe still in your classrooms, your presence is not going to be taken in any near future. So as I said, we'll go through that. So why it is like that. So again, for CSE students, as I said, CSE faculty members, certain discussion will be boring because it's pretty basic, but in the best interest of all the participants, I created it like this. So what is AI? So without going into that detailed or technological terms, it just you're creating a machine or maybe a software, hardware, robot, whatever it is. So it can mimic the intelligence of human beings. So it's artificial intelligence. That's it. So what human beings can think of, if that machine also can think of, we call it AI. So that's briefly what it is. So where AI is being used, forget about in education sector, AI is already there in a lot many places. For example, here we have some applications in healthcare where AI can be used for preventing healthcare. Maybe if you feed it with your medical test reports, it can guide you on what diseases you're likely to contract in near future. Maybe how to prevent that from happening, what remedies you need to make in your diet or lifestyle or medication. So all these kinds of things are definitely can be done easily with AI without the need for a doctor. Medical imaging, of course, so this is a lot of into application level already, especially in scans, CT scans and all. Of course, there is a radiologist or an expert doctor who is looking at those reports and giving his final verdict, but still, just by uh, placing the patient on that machine, whatever the imaging that comes from the machine, it's being fed into an AI model, which detects a possible normality or abnormality in that. So that level of thing is already there. Similarly, in financial sector, we have KYC. eKYC is being done. eKYC, of course, it's been done in two ways. Banks call it eKYC and they still ask you to upload something and they will verify it later. But if you go to especially this stockbroking companies like Zerodha, I have an account in Zerodha where for KYC you don't need to upload anything or do anything. You just have to physically present before it along with an ID card placed next to your face. So it just scans whether both are same or not. Then it verifies your things. So you don't have a laborious personal work to be done there to verify your client whether it is genuine or not. Similarly, for automated claim settlements in insurance. Similarly, in retail sector, especially online retail sector, AI is already there at a lot of levels. Especially if we take the example of Amazon, or not just Amazon, any particular online marketing platform or online marketplace. So if you search for something on Google, maybe for a latest mobile or something, if you open Amazon later, obviously you'll be seeing recommendations about the latest mobile. So that's AI, of course, we knew it. It's already taking our data and doing something with that. Similarly, we have its presence in marketing sector. Of course, these two are kind of related where the advertisements are, maybe you can take YouTube ads as an example for this, based on the language in which you watch more videos or based on the kind of content you search for on YouTube, you will be getting related videos. For example, by mistake, I think a couple of days back, in our home TV, we just searched for a trailer and we watched it in Tamil. From that day onwards, I started seeing more ads in Tamil. So that algorithm is thinking that there may be a new Tamil guy in this home. That's why they watched a trailer in Tamil. So let's start showing up ads in Tamil. Similarly, we have drones already. They are being implemented. For example, in agriculture sector, if you mark a field and kind of hand over it with some fertilizer, it will automatically kind of spray that fertilizer across the crop without the need for any manual intervention. That kind of things are already there. If there are any participants from Bhimavaram, there are a lot of case studies in and around Bhimavaram about these kind of drones that are coming up in news every day. So automated cars in India, their presence is a kind of limited, we can say, but still across the globe, there are a lot many places where automated cars are there, or at least semi-automated cars are there, like Tesla, where you have to be vigilant, but still you can relax a bit by leaving the driving part to that automated system inside the car. In India also we have a lot of cars coming up these days with cruise control. If you want to just go ahead within one lane, you don't want to do that zigzag thing, you can just keep your car in a lane and hand over the driving to it. Based on the distance between you and the next vehicle, it automatically adjusts the kind of speed and everything. So in cybersecurity or in physical security also, of course, AI is already have a strong presence, very strong presence. So especially in antiviruses, intrusion detection systems, in all these kinds of systems, AI is already there, because without AI, we cannot provide a proper amount of security these days. In cameras also it is there. These days we are having these special cameras which can detect motion and raise an alarm automatically. If you are going away on a vacation for some days, you can just buy that kind of a small camera for around 3,000 to 7,000. They are there. You can just fix it, focusing the entrance of your home somewhere inside the room. If someone comes near the door, if their shadow is also detected on the window or something also, then also it's giving an alarm and showing the live video stream on your mobile. So from there, you can alert your neighbors or someone near the home so that they can go and prevent the robbery. So these kinds of things are already there. So I forgot to mention one more important thing. Of course, robotics. We see a lot of applications in robotics, because robot, especially in Indian context, still maybe till from the science fi era till today, where we have large robots. So we know that robots are meant to be acting with artificial intelligence. But anyway, that's partially true. We'll discuss why and all. So especially in industrial sector, we have a lot of automation that already happened with AI. Maybe if we just go through YouTube videos that showcase production lines in different sectors, starting from car manufacturing or some kind of machine manufacturing or some kind of food processing industry, whatever it is, in most of the cases, the things are taken up by AI-enabled machines. So the need for workforce is reduced a lot. Maybe they have to be definitely varying because of the presence of AI. A lot of people lost their jobs already in those sectors. So AI, we can think of it in these three levels or stages. So narrow AI, general AI, and super AI. Narrow AI is something where that AI is trained to do one particular task and it is very good at it. For example, let us say this kind of paint, car paint workshop is there. That paints and all are very toxic to human beings. They cannot go inside and spray with their own hands. So if it is very good for human beings, if it is automated. So almost all paint shops are these days. I'm not talking about small paint workshops in and around our towns, but I'm talking about large automated paint shops where your car goes in, everything closed, maybe windows and all sealed with film so that they don't get painted. Then the robotic arm takes the job. It paints each and every corner outside your car with a color of your choice. So definitely in this particular task, that robotic painting machine is better than human beings. So that's what is narrow AI. So in this case, AI is very good at one particular job. But if you kind of ask it to do two or three jobs, it can't. For example, if you ask that paint machine to paint your car with, let us say, the latest designs in the fashion technology. So that doesn't know anything about fashion technology. So it cannot go fetch and do that painting. So that's what we call narrow AI. Most of the AI, 99.99% of the AI, what we have, that belongs to this. We are hearing a lot about automated cars. They are very good at driving. That's it. They cannot do other job. Uh, Maybe they cannot just predict the weather and suggest you a route. So that level of integration is not yet done. So if that also comes into picture, if AI model can take knowledge from one domain and transfers that to other domain, we call it general AI. As I said, if there is a car paint workshop, so maybe it asks user few questions based on their interests. So from their thought process, it picks up a beautiful design such that they are going to like it. So it's a kind of like reading the humans' intentions and likeliness and designing a paint on a job and doing it on a car. So it's a kind of like mix. Similarly, as I said, maybe picking up something from the fashion trend and creating a paint design through that. So these kind of things are still in kind of fictional stage. They are not into reality. A lot of research is being done in this domain. So I'd rather again say around 70 to 80% of the AI related research is currently focused on this. So if these particular models are realized, AI is on par with human beings. So general AI models, they are as good as human beings. In this case, they are good at only one particular task in narrow AI, not in everything. Whereas if transfer of knowledge is also their piece of cake, then definitely they are going to be into something as good as human beings. For example, we are seeing a lot of designs and models like mm, I knew a professor in geology from Visakhapatnam. So he designed a kind of underwater vehicle which is modeled based on the structure of kind of, I'd rather say, the squids. Similarly, if AI can design an aeroplane design based on the latest research in on birds, so that is definitely is going to be general AI, which can take knowledge from one domain, transfer it to the other. But as I said, this is still under research. And the nightmare is super AI, which can take over human beings, what people kind of project in sci-fi movies. So the thing here is there is an AI model which is far superior than human intelligence. So this level of creation is not yet into research also these days. So we need not worry about it in near future. Definitely, I can rather say. But if super AI model is there, is implemented, that will be as bad as this. So this is my one of my favorite scene from Robo movie where this Robo called Chitty is presented to the audience for the first time. So it stands on a kind of dais in a conference and kind of started giving answers to every question that is asked from different domains. So you can say that AI is into the level that it can take questions and answer almost at the accuracy of this robot, but that physical strength kind of thing, what is portrayed, and that emotional intelligence thing, what is portrayed, they are not yet under development also at this time period. But if you take out that emotional kind of behavior like having emotions or kind of uh, expressing emotions and that physical strength apart, we already have machines which can do this kind of job we have seen in Robo movie, which takes a lot of tons and tons of questions and projects answers in multiple domains in parallel. So a single AI model can take questions and can take jobs in different domains and do it. So that's already there. So those are what we are called LLMs, large language models. But as I said, they are not yet into super AI stage. Why? Because of those two laggings. One is the physical strength, what is being portrayed there. So that kind of materials, that kind of flexibility or that kind of mechanics, all those kinds are not yet implemented, are not yet thought of. At the same time, that emotional intelligence is not yet there for machines. But apart from that, LLMs can do what else Chitti can do. Maybe if you just take out that head, that is LLM, I can rather say. So what are large language models are here? So they are kind of like a very big data is there on everything. And these AI models are trained with that everything data so that they can answer question in any particular domain they are given with. Of course, it do have limitations because in my statement itself, there is a loophole. Why or how someone can possess entire data in the world? That's practically not possible. I'd rather say entire data that is publicly available in the public domain on the internet or maybe in a book or library. So that data is definitely fed into LLMs so that LLMs can take questions and answer in those domains on which they are trained in. So I am going to show you some particular examples and all anyway, so to clear up these things for you. So here, two things. First thing is why LLMs are that much fascinating and crazy, because they are trained on vast amounts of data. This text, I don't take it with the today's level of advancement, even though LLM usually translates to giving or taking textual data and producing textual data. But with the recent advancements, LLMs can take data in other media forms, like maybe they can take files, images, videos, and they can respond also in those multimedia models. But still, the base is same, so we can still learn textual LLMs and convert that into image or any other media, image, audio, or video, whatever it is. It's just changing a simple encoding and decoding thing. So these are, I'd rather call them star LLMs, who are taking out the market or the internet by craze. So let's go through them one by one. Then we'll get back to the other LLMs. So organizers, just to confirm, is my session up to 5 o'clock or is it up to 4:30? Anyone? Anyone from the organizing team? Please confirm by when I have to finish so that it will be easy for me. Okay, sir. Thank you, Kamesh, sir. Up to 5 o'clock. Yeah. So one thing I just want to add on before continuing with the session. Those who are already on that Slido in your mobiles, you can see that there is a QA session that's already running in the background. Actually, because of this Teams setup, I cannot see the other screens except the one with the presentation. So you can post your queries on that. So when we reach that QA time, maybe I'll go through those questions one by one and try to answer them. So you need not interrupt me or you need not wait till the end to post any questions there. It's already running in the background. On the same Slido window, you can see that there is an audience Q&A kind of thing. If you click on that, you can type your questions. I think I shared only one particular window. Just to switch between the windows, I'm stopping the sharing and I'll reshare my screen. Oh, someone responded on chat as well. Sorry, I can't see chat while the session is going on. Yeah. Is my screen shared? All right. So these four, as I said, I'll call them star LLMs because they have their popularity, wild scale of usage, and so on. But the hero of the session is obviously this GPT models. Of course, Chat GPT is quite popular and known to everyone, but GPT is not just one. There are multiple GPTs that are available, which are developed by that OpenAI organization. So I'll show you some of them anyway. So first one is GPT, which is very good at summarizing some content if you are given, or generating quizzes from the topics you are given, or creating lesson plans and all. As I said, at the end, we'll have a small hands-on how to integrate LLMs into our daily teaching and learning things. So in that example also, I'm planning to use GPT itself because of its quick and kind of accurate responses it gives. Why it is kind of accurate, you will get to know very soon. So second, this GPT model is, as I said, it is being developed by OpenAI. Currently, OpenAI is an individual organization though, but Microsoft invested or taken over a lot of share from OpenAI. So kind of like it's a sub Microsoft firm for the time being, not completely under Microsoft, but Microsoft do have a lot of share. Then we have Gemini, of course, previously known as Bard. This is by Google again. So just like GPT, it can also do all that text summarization and everything. But the only advantage with Gemini is that it has some kind of context which is set to live results also. Again, I don't want to explain it right here because just a couple of slides after we have to discuss about it. So what do we mean by live context and how GPT fails in doing that? Meta AI or Llama. So Llama is the model on which that Meta AI is built. So both are kind of like synonymous. So on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, whenever you see this kind of beautiful circle with a multicolor kind of can to that light pinkish blue shades. So that obviously denotes something related to AI. We are already constrained to those models. So that is based on this Llama. Llama translates to nothing but large language algorithm for Meta AI. So it's they are both the same. So algorithm name is Llama and the screen or application on which you are interacting is called Meta AI. So this is the lightest and quickest of LLMs what we have these days, or popular LLMs, I'd rather say, because they are trained with lots and lots of amount of data. If you give a question, they need to look at all the data. So definitely they take a bit of time, except this Meta AI. Meta AI's response is pretty quick and light as they claim. But unfortunately, today I cannot show you a demonstration of Meta AI because I don't have an Insta account and my Facebook account is temporarily not working. So without both of them, we cannot show Meta AI. But of course, I can show some demo questions and answers, but picture generation or kind of video generation. So those kind of beautiful things I cannot show, unfortunately, today. And last and one of my favorite LLMs is Microsoft Copilot. So these copilots are fascinating. Why? Because they give a kind of beautiful addition of AI to your regular workflows without taking out you from them. So they do not completely automate everything, but they're a kind of like you have a personal assistant uh, going along with you all the time. So in almost all the laptops that have Windows 11, so they are already pre-installed with this Copilot. So I'll show you what kind of fascinating things we can do with Copilot in your laptops. So let's get into some hands-on with these LLMs. Where are they? Yeah, here they are. So maybe I'll start with ChatGPT. So as I said, it is very good for summarizing text or answering something. For example, if you don't know about anything about LLMs, maybe what are LLMs? So we just ask it a question. So I know showing something on ChatGPT is not kind of encouraging or a new thing for everybody, but believe me, I'm going to show you kind of few more features or improvements what we can do with our regular ChatGPT thing. So yeah, so here it is. It kind of gave a lot of data about LLMs. Maybe if I ask it about generate an image that shows LLM as a human with all its capabilities in a sci-fi background. Let us see what it generates. So previously, there used to be a separate GPT or application called DALI. So that used to be someone is unmuted, I think. Please mute your mic if you don't have any questions. Yeah. So here it is. See, maybe you are a kind of questioned or puzzled that what's in that image. Maybe this could be some image from Google. I can do it a Google search and find. If you are particular about it, I'm searching for the same with Google Lens. See, you will find all other kinds of images, but not this exact image. They look similar, but not exactly. So the advantage with these kind of LLMs is they create content which is not already there. So you don't run into a kind of like copyright issues and all while creating maybe presentations or illustrations. For example, I want to give a presentation here today. I need some pictures from demonstrating something. So if I take something from Google, if someone who is having copyright on that finds out, obviously I will be sued for that. I cannot use someone's image without their permission or paying their royalty. So, but this LLMs create something which is not already there. So definitely you don't get sued for anything. And you can customize these prompts and get the things done. But the limitation what we have in ChatGPT is that it can create only 3 images per day in 24 hours time. If I give another 2 prompts, it will show something like you cannot create until tomorrow. It's around 3:44. So until tomorrow 3:44 p.m. I cannot create another image with ChatGPT. If you subscribe for GPT Plus by paying something monthly or annually, then you can use that. But for me, I don't need a GPT Plus. And another thing is that when you're giving a prompt here, maybe generate similar image in non-sci-fi background and with a realistic human picture maybe. So kind of like you can do customizations on that. So this is ChatGPT. We have other GPTs also available under. That's not realistic human thing. Anyway, of course, it's a kind of in like an office setup, but a kind of looks robot anyway, but better than this. It's kind of looks like human in some aspects. Sir and madam, please mute your mics when it is not necessary.
You are making me.
Oh, I don't have an option to mute them as well. Vanaja Kumar garu, please mute your mic. Okay, this kind of happens with every online session, so but it's okay. So this is the thing. So let us explore other GPTs what are available with the OpenAI subscription. Yeah, kind of thing you can see here. If you are talking about education, yeah, see it here. Write anything is there. Code tutor is there. Universal primer is there. Video summarizer is also there. If you give it a video, it kind of summarizes it and produces a summary of it. So TutorMe is there. So TutorMe is a direct product of this so-called Khan Academy. So their content is being taken. So one more interesting thing is that logo maker is there. Let me go through that. Maybe you can create your own logo. Oh, sorry, someone logo creator. Yeah, this one is good. So if I want to create a logo for myself, maybe you need to give a prompt something like this. Create a logo and some characteristics you want. Maybe I want a monogram with my initials. Then maybe interleaving letters. Maybe education sector. So all the features what you want, you can give it. Yeah, so here it is. It asks how complex it is and in which colors you want it. Maybe I want it in blue and gold with a kind of complex design. So I'll give it 9 and maybe I want it in A. If you want to hire a professional logo maker who is working with that Adobe Illustrator and all, it's a kind of take a lot of time. See this. But of course, that's a kind of like royal monogram, too much fancy. Yeah, see this here. I have already generated 3 images today, so I cannot generate any more images until tomorrow 2:12 p.m. Okay, kind of like they have reduced the limit. It's not pure 24 hours. Be around 20 hours, I can rather say. Right. So this is Chat GPT and other GPTs you have. You can explore multiple GPTs that are available here. You can even upload a file and test also, but I want to reserve that for the final hands-on session. So then we have Gemini. Gemini also works on the same lines. You can do anything on it. Maybe I'll do one thing. I'll just copy some text and ask it to summarize it. Maybe on this screen, we'll have a lot of text. So I'll just take everything here. That's enough maybe. So I'll just paste it on Gemini. So summarize below text into an abstract, maybe around 200 words. I have given it what to do, then paste the text, hit enter. That's it. See this? So it kind of summarizes all the text you have given into just how much you want. So this kind of very much useful for us when we need to go through a lot of text for preparing something or for reading something or for understanding something. First, you may start with the summary, then whatever you want. Maybe if you want to learn more about embedding layer, maybe I'll ask it, give more information about so-called embedding layer. That's it. It will do. So another advantage with Gemini is that if you see here in GPT, you have voice input, textual input, and you can upload a kind of any file. But the thing is that in Gemini, you can search with a particular image. I'd probably go with a, I'm just giving it an image, what the image is about. So this particular feature is only available with Gemini in the LLMs what we are going to discuss. Yeah, so it kind of gave information about what flower it is and all, but I think it's a logo. So let us ask it that if it is a logo, what is it about? So it just kind of giving responses about what kind of logo it is, what that logo represents and all. But anyway, while going through, you will get to know that this is actually a logo of another LLM. So Gemini is kind of failed in that. Because the thing is that Gemini is a kind of new, its data training abilities are somewhat less when compared with GPT, which is there almost from a decade. But Google's advantage is that as it is having its own search engine and other tools, it kind of gives responses, related search options, and links in the search, and a lot of things. See here, there is a link to go to that particular website and learn more about it. GPT kind of fails in this kind of thing unless you ask for it. There are other places where GPT also fails. I'll let you know. So this is the fancy and lovable Microsoft's Copilot. So if I ask it something like, hey, I want to travel from maybe Bhimavaram to Hyderabad tomorrow. What options I have? As you can observe, it's a kind of slow, but the responses will be good. See what options I have? It's giving trains along with train numbers. So beautiful, isn't it? See, for cab, how much it costs, that also it's giving. Let me try the same query on other LLMs. Gemini. See, it also responds, but it's not as good as uh, Microsoft Copilot. It kind of gives few information and asks you to go to a particular website and check yourself. It's not my assistant. It's a kind of like my boss gives a colleague gives some information and asks me to get lost and search somewhere else. If I give the same query to ChatGPT, oh sorry, I have given it in logo creator. I am supposed to give it in ChatGPT. Interesting, there is an error. Let's try again. So this option earlier was not there in ChatGPT. Recently, they have introduced searching from web and getting results. So earlier, they used to showcase a kind of a dialogue saying that GPT's information is up to only 2021 or 2023 December 12th. So after that, whatever happened, we don't know. So please check for live things. Yeah, here it is, personal vehicle or cab, a bus. So kind of like, again, information is not as accurate and as comfortable as Microsoft Copilot. But what other things these two machines can do, that Copilot also can do. For example, let us give this summarization task to Microsoft Copilot. Copy this thing. Anyway, I think I'm spending too much time on LLM examples. Maybe after this, let us switch to LLM internals. Oh, it has a text limit on characters. So that's the limit. Maybe you can give a file and test. Yeah. Here also we have an option to upload an image. But in ChatGPT, we can upload a PDF also. But as I said, I'll do it slightly afterwards when we get into educational applications of LLMs. So here it is. It gave summarizations as well. But the summaries will be kind of good in ChatGPT when compared with Gemini and Microsoft Copilot because of its vast amount of training data that it is trained on. As I said, Llama is also a good model, but as I said, unfortunately today I cannot try because whenever you click on it, it asks you to log in, but maybe let me try with some text. For image generation, definitely it asks. Yeah, here it is. Continue without logging in. Okay, age. I'm not giving my proper year of birth as it's on a public domain now. Yeah, here it is. Llama also can do all these things, but Llama is very good at creating images. If you have seen this first page itself, you will get to know. So all these images are created by Llama itself. Believe me, if you log in and search, it can create beautiful images without the limitations of what we have in ChatGPT and other places. Microsoft Copilot also can do that. Maybe let us ask this. Generate an image of LLM presented as human in a office setup with people asking questions. Let us see what it generates. As per the information I had, Copilot is also good, but Llama is very good at generating beautiful images. Oh, kind of good. I think this is better than what ChatGPT generated. So this is the beauty of top LLMs, what we have, large language models. There is my presentation. So we have an hour. So kind of like we have other GPTs also. Let us quickly go through them, maybe in another 5 minutes, followed by the LLM internals. So these are the other interesting large language models which are available. As I said, here you can see this is the logo of another LLM called Bloom. These two LLMs, I cannot show them on live because these two are kind of like Bloom is still under development. Whereas OpenAI is a kind of model, you cannot directly interact with it, but you can download, create a program or application around it and start using it. Anyway, and one more such thing is BERT. But BERT, you can use it or you are already using it without knowing. So this BERT is, yeah, before we get into BERT, can someone unmute and let me know what this GPT stands for? Anyone quickly? Or you can give a wild guess for some kind of funny interaction. Yeah, it is ChatGPT. Yeah, it's ChatGPT 4, yes, Madhavi ma'am. So I forgot to mention there are multiple variants of ChatGPTs that are available. In ChatGPT 4, we'll get these things, but GPT 4 is not for unlimited usage. Sorry. Did I disconnect? Yeah, I think I'm back. So let me check my internet first. Yeah, here it is. So anyone, generative pre-trained transformer. So Shobha ma'am, if you know it, that's pretty cool. But if you have copied it from somewhere, anyway, anyone else? Any other guesses? From Google, I don't know because that hyphen gives me that, that hyphen made you caught. Because usually we don't use that. Sorry, I kind of like internet is gone here. So I tried reconnecting with my mobile hotspot. So just to save data, I'll switch off my video for the time being. So I'll switch it on when we get back to QA session. Let me share my screen. Yeah, it is shared. So yeah, so GPT stands for that. We'll get back to that expansion anyway. So BERT, I want to focus you on this T because this T is very much important for LLMs. We'll get to know why. Anyway, I don't want to focus on what is BERT and all. You can just Google and see that. So my intention is where actually BERT is used. Along with Google, we do have so many other search engines. Like Bing is there by Microsoft, Yahoo search engine is there, still it is there from long back, but nobody recognize it. So kind of like why Google is popular because it adopts to the technology quickly and gives a better experience for the users. So kind of like after 2017, 19 and so on, it started implementing AI into search, especially these LLMs. BERT was initially introduced in 2017, I guess. But after that, it kind of made several modifications to it. So BERT is something which assists the users of Google search in fine-tuning their search. Starting from if you start typing something, automatically Google gives the remaining sentence. It gives suggestions for searches. That too, if you start searching for a particular domain again and again and again, if you start searching for, let us say, how to prepare presentations and all, after some time, if you are trying to search something, it gives suggestions based on um, your previous searches. So this kind of an LLM is there in the background for Google search, but we cannot kind of like take out and see how what it is. It's already there. So your Google search is all about BERT only. So we don't need to explicitly say this. Claude is another beautiful LLM. The thing is that Claude is a kind of like safe in the context of what? It follows all legal regulations very stringently. So it is kind of, I don't say kid safe because it's not allowed for anyone under 18 to use Claude. Claude kind of asks you everything starting from your mobile number, OTPs, your date of birth. So it just ensures that you're a real guy who is above 18 and interacting with it. And while giving responses also, it kind of maintains its own boundaries so that the information what it generates do not violate any legal regulations. So it's safe to use the content that is generated by Claude than ChatGPT or any other LLM. So that's the speciality of Claude. So even it kind of keeps in mind the copyright issues also. So we don't run into a copyright issue when you use the content that is being delivered by Claude. Then we have Perplexity. This is a very good tool for kind of like research oriented searches. Perplexity is for that. Then Jasper is for generating kind of creative content, or kind of like if you want to design a website for yourself, you can ask Jasper to do it. It kind of gives you entire code. So that kind of things we can do it. Or if you want to design a marketing presentation for your product, Jasper can do that. And DeepL, for people who know about Grammarly, it's kind of like Grammarly only, but it's a kind of like LLM model also. Grammarly is a paid tool, whereas DeepL is a kind of free up to some extent, just like Grammarly, but I'd rather say better than Grammarly. It can be used for translations. It can be used for standardizing your text in terms of spellings or grammar, all these kinds of things. And Elicit is again kind of favorite for all of us because we struggle a lot to get proper research information online. Even though Google Scholar, ResearchGate, multiple tools and search platforms are there, but many of them dump us with unnecessary information. Whereas Elicit is a kind of a good thing, which is particularly for researchers. So I'll show you anyway. As I said, BERT, Bloom, and Open Assistant, we are not going to look at them. Of course, Claude also, because I already told you what Claude is about. It doesn't give any different results, but that results are kind of safe to be used.
Just
This is, yes?
They will give on the annual depth.
Yeah.
Annual
So here
question,
it is.
you know.
This is Perplexity. As I said, this is also kind of good for research, but kind of like it gives domain specific
For
results.
the
See
writing
here,
question.
we can select what is our focus. Is it web, academic,
Sure.
math, writing, video, or social?
Time they are conducting the next year. I think
For
in the
example,
February,
I want to watch maybe good or how LLM works. Because I have given video, so it automatically searches and gives good video suggestions from me from YouTube and other video streaming platforms along with the answer. So you have an answer. Along with that, it also have YouTube video links. So you can go and watch. If you observe here, from which video it is also referred here. So it goes through the videos, summarizes the thing and gives you to. Instead of follow, maybe I want to give, sorry. Yeah, you can also attach files here. I want to start a new chat. So this is a kind of like new for me as well because I don't use it much. Just like other people, I am also kind of habituated to using ChatGPT, even though it's not accurate and context specific in some cases. Yeah, you can search in social media. This is one big advantage of Perplexity. Why? Because other GPTs, what we discussed so far, they fail miserably in math. Even if we ask simple math questions, they fail to answer properly. Whereas Perplexity is very good for solving math related problems as well. Anyway, I'll just stop it here. Okay, so why Jasper is asking my name again? Okay, so this is a DeepL. As I said, you can type some text and get it fine-tuned. I think maybe I'll try to fine-tune the text that is given by Gemini. So instead of searching for content, I'm using the content. Okay, this is for translation. So DeepL Write and DeepL Translator both are there. If you kind of lose my voice or if there are any breaks, please let me know immediately because I'm connected with mobile hotspot. So you can expect
Sir, all
hiccups.
good, sir. No problem.
Okay, thank
All
you,
clear,
sir.
sir.
Okay, thank you. ఏమన్నా ప్రాబ్లం వస్తే వెంటనే చెప్పండి సార్.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, see it here. So I have just copied some text from Gemini. So I asked DeepL Write to streamline the text, kind of give me a better text. So let's get it first. Is my Jasper ready? Not yet. Yeah. So before DeepL Write gives a result, let me get into Elicit. So as I said, Elicit is for research purpose. Finding papers I am trying now. So maybe I want to find papers on novel cyber security approaches with generative AI. Let us see what papers it suggests. It even converted my prompt into a proper wording here. Yeah, here it is. See this. This is the summary of top 4 papers on this particular topic. Innovative cybersecurity with generative AI. If you are a budding researcher, you are trying to give a problem statement or something, see how beautiful it is for you, how easy it is for you. If you want to go through what are those papers, here are the papers. So you can go beyond 4 as well. But the top 4 summary is given here. Instead, you can do something else as well. I just want to delete this. I want to upload a paper and ask it to extract. I'm just giving my random paper. It will kind of a bit of time for uploading. Let us see the result of deep write meanwhile. Something went wrong. Very good. Maybe I'll change the style. I want that information to be business on a confident tone. Let us apply and see. I don't want to add any tags. Get me the result. See here, it automatically identifies certain tags. What is the summary of the paper, what the paper finds out about and all. So main findings, if you click, what are the outcomes that are measured? Okay, so everything kind of it gives. Yeah, so what the paper is about, what are the key findings in the paper, it automatically gives you. So this is you're going to be your research best friend, I'd rather say. So that beautiful it is. Kind of deep L is failing, maybe because of my internet speed or there is a glitch on their end. I don't know. So I'll just close all these files, all these tabs so that internet usage will be optimistic on my side. So I need these 4 for another demonstration. So let's leave them there. So yeah, so what are LLMs? What is inside LLMs? Is there a kind of genie sits inside them and answers the questions, or what it is? Let us see. So to understand again, I'll always start with what is GPT. Again, 2 participants answered it rightly. Of course, from an internet search, I do know. So G here stands for generative, which means that this model is going to predict something, generate something new. And P here stands for pre-trained. So all the LLMs are pre-trained with massive amounts of data from internet or from other sources, as I said. And most important thing is T. This T is all about in GPT and in BERT of Google search. In both, T stands for transformer. So this transformer is a kind of artificial neural network or AI model, which is the brain of these LLMs. All the LLMs what we have seen so far in the background, they are built on transformers. So kind of like I don't need to explain about this G. They generate something new or generate something what you ask for. But we need to look at these two. What do we mean by pre-trained models and what do we mean by transformers? So this is how pre-training works in GPTs, especially GPT 3 and 4, the latest 2 versions. So as one of the participant asked, the demonstration what I have shown you is on GPT-4, of course, ma'am. We have GPT-4, which is kind of latest version available for free variant of GPT. For paid variants, they have beta versions, which are a kind of next level GPTs. But this GPT-4 is pretty good. GPT-4 Lite version is also there, which is pretty quick. GPT-3 is a kind of outdated. If you start using GPT-4 and if the results, if you test results with GPT-3, you will feel kind of awkward. It's not going to set any benchmark or expectation after using GPT-4. Okay, anyway, in GPT-3 and 4, this is what happened. The first step is pre-training, as I said. So kind of like we'll feed the model with lots and lots of data. Obviously, the main source of lots and lots of data is the internet. But apart from internet, whatever is the data available for you, you just fetch it and feed your model with. So how the data is fetched, how web crawling is done, or how data crawling is done is a completely separate domain for discussion. I'm not getting into that. So the problem what we face in this pre-training stage is how to get information is one thing, but based on what you feed the machine with, it's going to answer. If you remember in that Robo movie, this Robo Chitti goes to a salon with that scientist who developed it. So there, that saloon guy gives this robo a set of books. It scans all those books and says that it's done. But after that day, when the robo is taken for demonstration in a public conference, when someone asks for whether this particular number is Fibonacci number or not, it says that it is 23rd Fibonacci number and also the phone number of some other guy. How does it know that it's the phone number of a guy? Because on the previous day, it is fed with a telephone directory. In the same way, if the model is fed with something, it can answer questions on that information. So if there is anything missing in the pre-training data, obviously your model is not going to work for that particular information. So that's the basic limitation or challenge what we have in pre-training of large language models. In the second level, we have instruction fine-tuning, where the model is kind of like thought to respond for the instructions of the user, how questions will be like, if a question comes, how to respond to it. This is a kind of like fine tuning. After these two steps, usually the model is released for public. But another important step is there. We call it reinforcement learning. What reinforcement learning exactly is, we'll have a detailed discussion tomorrow. But for the time being, it's a kind of like post deployment feedback. CS people will easily get it. So after releasing the product, we'll take feedback from the clients or the customers or the users. So in Chat GPT, if I quickly switch to, we got a response. See here, we have a good response and bad response options. If we click on bad response, it will ask you why. Why do you think it is a bad response? So based on this feedback, the machine trains itself again. Nobody is there on the back end to see your response and correct the machine. The machine retrains itself because of the feedback given by users. And yeah, here it is. If you can see by these things, we can switch between models. So this GPT-4 is kind of like limited for a particular day. You cannot give unlimited questions or responses based on GPT-4. When it is done, it automatically switches to GPT-4 mini. But GPT-4 responses are more accurate than this mini version. We'll switch to that again. Yeah, so here is what basically an LLM can do. So firstly, it is translating English sentence, what's the time, into maybe Q horas in Spanish. Then I have given a question and it kind of responded. I have given a large amount of text and it summarized. kind of like I asked for a tagline and it gave. So kind of LLMs applications are so vast. They can literally do anything when the input and output are in textual form. They do have limitations, as I said, but let us see how it works. So this entire thing, we call it encoding. First thing, we require a large amounts of input in the form of books or Wikipedia or internet. Yeah, as I said, we usually crawl information from internet or scientific papers or data sets, whatever it is, whatever you have, dump it on the model. Then the basic limitation of any machine-based model is that machines cannot understand language what we humans can understand. So that is what the natural language processing is all about. So we need to convert this natural language into a machine understandable data. So we convert, for example, see here, Dolly is a language model that can help you generate text for variety of tasks. This is the human readable sentence that is divided into a lot of tokens or words. Then they will be assigned with a kind of number. A unique number is given for each word. For example, it's not that appropriate. Maybe we'll see another example there. I'll explain. So then these tokens will be converted into something called relationships. We call it here token embeddings, but actually in the models, what we see, they call attentions. I'll show you how attention is calculated and all. But anyway, see, for a particular sentence or set of words, we are kind of give them weights or probabilities. So what it is all about, if you observe here, there are two words, van and car. They are grouped together because they are vehicles. Dog and puppy, they are grouped together. They are other names for or kind of related to dogs. If cat is there, if it will be somewhere around here. It's far away from van, but it's close to dog, but not as close as puppy. So here what we are trying to do is we are trying to group or cluster images, words based on their relationship. This is entirely called encoding. Once encoding is done, we feed this data into a pre-trained transformer model or a neural network, an AI model. This AI model generates output, but while generating, it also looks for human feedback. As I said, you can give a thumbs down. You may ask it to regenerate, saying that it's not good. In such cases, it generates output and again trains it with model and generates and so on. Anyway, this output generation is called decoding, where output is also generated in the form of numerical weights, which are again converted into human readable natural language sentences. So basically, this is all LLM is about: encoding, AI model, decoding. Basically, that's what it is. But to understand it deeper, we require a kind of knowledge about transformers that we quickly see in another minute or so. So yeah, so the problem with LLMs is most of the times, because of the absence of proper data, what LLM generate may not be true. For example, previously I asked you to give expansion for GPT. If you are in a environment, maybe in an offline session without access to internet and or access to phones, what you will do? You will, if you know the answer, you will try to give, otherwise you will try to be calm. But if the situation is like this, if you must give an answer, then what happens? Obviously, you will be giving some random answer that comes into your mind. Why? Because you don't have knowledge or information based on what that GPT stands for. If the same goes with LLMs also, if you ask something you don't know, it just gives information response with respect to information what it has. So we need to do something called ground it. We need to make it into reality with respect to updated information. So that kind of what we call setting context with LLM. As I said, ChatGPT fails in this aspect in some situations. I'll show you anyway. Yes, yeah, here it is, how that context setting works. Who is Colombia's current president is the question. So this is how Microsoft Copilot works. So it kind of searches in the internet. It gets some top responses. Based on that, it stitches the results into LLM. So how it works is kind of like, who is the current president is the what is the question asked. The responses are in from this website, this it is, from this website it is. So now this particular LLM model trains on this updated information about what is happening in Colombia. Based on that, it generates an answer. Now, I will ask ChatGPT a similar question. Who is the current president of Syria? For those who are following the news, there is an update actually. We will get to know. As on December 2024, GPT is giving an answer. Yeah. Bashir al-Assad, sorry. So he is the president of Syria. Yeah, see here it is. We'll get back to the answer anyway. I hit the free limit of GPT-4 responses. So all my next responses will be based on GPT-4 mini or GPT-3 because GPT-4 limit is over for my free plan for today. So I need to wait for not 24 hours. This is even good. Maybe after 7:43 p.m. today, I can do the search. Yeah, anyway, so here is the answer. It's Bashir al-Assad. Let me ask the same question to Gemini. Gemini gives a different kind of response because it usually don't respond on political figures. See, I can't help with the response because elections and political figures right now, it is trained on only other things because in Syria, there is a kind of what we say conflict going on. Yeah, here it is. తెలుగులో అంతర్యుద్ధం అంటాం కదండి. I forgot the English word for it. Internal conflict is there. So because of that, GPT gave an answer, but Gemini is not going to go with it because it's having uncertainty. Let me ask the same with Meta. Yeah, Bashir al-Assad is the current president again. This also gave the same answer, but let me give the same to Copilot. Let's hope Copilot gives a correct answer because all the other, of course, Gemini didn't give an answer. Meta and GPT gave an incorrect response. See, as of now, Bashar al-Assad is no longer the president of Syria. Why? Because yesterday itself, this internal military coup, what is planned due to internal conflict by the rebel forces, he fled to Russia. Russia even confirmed that al-Assad is out of Syria. But unfortunately, these two responded saying that al-Assad is still the president. Of course, this is a kind of an ambiguous situation because currently there is no president there. Yesterday, existing president fled away or he exiled into Russia, and there is no longer a president right now today. So this is what I mean by setting the context. In that particular situation, I would rate Copilot the best because you have seen it with your eyes. So what's going on somewhere, what's happening somewhere, or you're planning your trains. So for these kind of things which require immediate knowledge, Copilot is the best. Meta is good for images. Copilot is also okay, but Meta's images are good. Gemini is for quick responses based on web results, and GPT is for largely trained data. I'd rather say it like this. GPT is best for writing assistant. Gemini is for search assistant. It searches Google and gives you the best responses. Copilot is like my all-over assistant. It's my virtual PA. And Meta is kind of my designer, which gives beautiful images quickly. So all these things free of cost, of course. So let's get into the actual topic. Oh my God, I am left with only 20 minutes. Anyway, I'll quickly take you through transformers because transformers are not that easy to understand without setting or having basics of AI and all. So I'll quickly take you through transformers because we are yet to see some applications of LLMs and all. So basically, out of black box, this is how a transformer looks like. So here I am giving the transformer a job of translating something in French into English. So JSU today, so which means I am a student. So this French sentence is given as input and the transformer translates it to what do we call English. So as a black box, it's looks kind of simple, but internally transformers do have a very complex structure in them. But if I show you this picture directly, so you will be like, what the hell is this? Because it's a lot of complex and connections in there. So we'll try to understand the basics of transformers first. There are encoders and decoders in transformers that we already discussed while discussing about what is there inside LLMs. So transformers are of three types: only encoding transformers, only decoding transformers, and transformers with both encoder and decoders. This only encoding transformers are also known as auto encoding models. So we already seen an example for this. BERT is the best example for this, where everything is about your input only. Because you are giving some input, based on that it gives a response. It don't need to search a big data set or trained model to give you information. So you have typed half a Google search query, it just completes it. So it's a kind of like easier here. We have other things called decoder only models, where this so-called auto regressive models, where only decoder is present, where focus is more on the results rather than on input. Even though it should be related to input though, but mostly they will go with the output. They are focused more on the output. That's why, as I said, the GPT-3 is a kind of like measurable if you are used to using GPT-4. If you ask it a question, it gives a response, but it could be partially correct, or sometimes it could be related to something out of the scope for which you asked for, and so on. Whereas the last ones are pretty good. They focus on both input as well as output. So the best example for them are translations, because input is necessary to translate it to output. At the same time, while translating it to output, we don't translate it word by word, just like how they do it in these dubbing movies. For example, if someone says like in English movie, the sentence is like, what the hell it is. If you translate it to Telugu, maybe like, identi ila undi. It could be a good translation. But if you do it word by word, what the hell it is. So, enti narakam. So, see how they are not linked together, or they are not stitching together. So input is necessary. At the same time, connections between the output are also essential. So this is what is there in almost all latest LLMs, especially when there is a translator in it, a summarization. When we have these kind of things, they will have both encoder and decoder. So we'll get to know. So for that example of what we have seen, so JSU today, I need to translate that. So that will be given as input for the first encoder, second encoder, and so on. If let us say there are how many are here? 6 encoders are here. So Encoder 1 output is given as input to encoder 2. Encoder 2 output is given as input to encoder 3 and so on up to encoder 6. But in decoders, even though decoder 1 output is given as input to decoder 2 and so on, one thing we need to observe is there are 6 encoders and 6 decoders. Usually how many encoders are there, so that many decoders will be there. At the same time, every decoder requires the output of the last encoder, not just the first decoder, but the output of the last encoder is given as input to all the decoders. To understand why, we need the next thing. So inside that each of this one particular encoder, it will be this. It contains two major parts. Along with that, there will be dot products, exclusivars, matrix additions, and all these things will be there. But important things are these two: self-attention and feed forward. Self-attention is, as I said already, attention is nothing but kind of identifying the relationship between words in the input. Or in decoder side, it is words in the output. So relationship between a sequence of words is identified here. Then those sequence of words are converted into a vector form and they are given as input to a neural network. For people who don't know about vectors and all, leave it aside. Assume that it's a numerical list. A set of numerical numbers are given as output from this attention and they are given as input to this so-called feed-forward neural network. Again, for people who don't know what is a neural network, it is an artificial brain. Let us think of it like that. Then on decoder side, it has three parts, not just two. Self-attention. Here the self-attention is based on input sequence. Here the self-attention is based on output sequence, and the neural network is there. In between these two, there is another attention, which is encoder-decoder attention. Here, what we try to find out is self-attention in encoder, relationship between input words. Here, in self-attention of decoder, relationship between output words. Whereas in decoder encoder attention, we'll try to identify relationship between input words and output words. That is, of course, necessary, right? For the job we are taking up here, translation of something in French to English. That is why every set of decoder require the output of the last encoder, because its attention values and encoder's attention values are grouped again, so that there will be a relationship between input and output is formed in this particular component. So this is how input is fed into encoders, and the last input's output is fed into the first decoder, as I said, and it a kinds of gives the first sentence or the first word in the output. This is how the first word is generated. The input is converted into tokens, numerical forms, then first encoder, second encoder, last encoder output is fed into decoder 1, then into decoder 2, then the output. Because it is the first output, we don't have any output attention calculation here. But if you observe, the output of the last encoder is given as input to both the decoders here. What is there in the output? Some K and V. I'll explain what are these K and V's slightly after this. Yeah. After that, when the first word is generated, this is also given as input to the decoders along with the encoder output. Encoder outputs plus current output. Encoder output is based on input sentence. So input sentence values in vector forms plus existing output are fed into decoders. Let me start it again. So I is already there, I and input. So based on that, it translates to I am. Then I am and input values. So A. Then I am A and input values student. Then I am a student and input values. So that's the end of translation. So if you observe input, there are only 3 words, but in output, it is generating 4 words. How it is possible is because of this reiterating the output back into the decoders again and again. If this is not done, as I said, it kind of translate something randomly. right? So to understand it even better, I have few visualizations for you. Let me open up. We have 10 minutes, no problem. Maybe 5 minutes for the visualization and 5 minutes for exercises, followed by a minute or two Q&A. Yeah, here it is. So maybe it's like too much of information for you, I don't know, but all the links and information what I'm presenting in this slide are embedded as hyperlinks into the presentation. I'll give this presentation to Kamesh sir. He will in turn share it with you. Please go through the presentation, then you will understand it pretty clean. Yeah. So here is the sentence: data visualization empowers users to, it's suggesting the next word as create. So how it suggests? First, this is what is given. Then see, input is converted, data is converted into 6601, a number, visualization is converted into this and so on. Then something called positional encoding is there, means in which position that word occurs. These two we combine to generate input vectors. In the previous slides, we have seen a kind of blue colored box kind of things that are fed into encoders. So those are these. So this is what happens in before encoding stage. After this, we'll get into this entire thing is so you can see a dotted line around here. So this is the transformer. So see here, for every vector that is generated for one word, it is calculating or converting that into three arrays. They are called Q, K, and V. We have seen K and V in the previous slide. So K stands for key and V stands for vector. For example, let me show you how something is calculated. It's not that easy to understand, of course, on just this animation, but it gives you an idea. So here it is. See, the word data is converted into weights, Q, K, V, query, key, value. Query is based on input, key is based on what is expected, and values are probable outputs. Then it is added with a bias value. What are biases and all we'll discuss tomorrow. Let's not get into too much today itself. And it finally produces QKV output. This QKV output is given as something called attention, which means the relationship between these words. Attention in detail, again, I'll show you in another visualization. Then these things are fed into MLP, is a multi-layer perceptron, they call it, which is a neural network. So after that, they kind of get another vectors again. So this is one transformer. Like that, 11 transformers are there. See here, this is one transformer block, 11 more. So total 12 transformers are there. This is based on, I think, GPT-2 model. And based on that, it's giving the proper word as create. If you observe, it's giving two words, create and visualize, but it is going for create this time. It kind of gives a probability and takes one probable word out of it. If I give this complete sentence as input, data visualization empowers users to create. Let us see the output. See, here it is computing, neural network, and the probabilities. Yeah, more is the answer. Where is more? Here it is. So to create more what? Maybe let us generate again. More effective. Okay, what next? And it's giving a pretty long sentence because this particular tool won't support more than 12 words. And scalable. So see, every time output I am giving it to input again. So it's suggesting the next word, analytics. So that's the end, maybe. Right? So this is how these work. So we are still don't know or unable to find out what this attention is. That we'll see it here. This is called a BERTWIZ interactive tool. So I ran it over Google Colab to see it. See, there are two sentences that are given. Sentence A is the cat sat on a mat. Sentence B is the cat lay on the rug. If I input both of them, the relationship between all these sentences is given. First, I'll try to, if it is encoder, this is what happens. Relationship between input to itself. Only one input is there. So these are called attention heads. Multiple colors are there here. So I'll select maybe this orange colored head. See, in layer 11, if maybe in layer 3, this is the relationship. See, cat is more related on CLS means empty space. Next related on separator. Next related on, next possible relation is on. How do you know the relations? If you ask, just see the intensity of color. More intensity means more related. The cat is having more relation after space and separator. Separator could be a comma or full stop or whatever it is. If I look at another head, cat is related to more on sat and the. See, like this, we are trying to find relationship between cat and spaces, cat and verbs, cat and its related words, cat and what it is doing, cat and where it is there. So kind of like all these are called attention heads, these colors. If I select all attention heads, you will see the complete picture, but it will be a kind of mess. You'll see a lot of relationships. See, all I have selected, see this. But if I select on one particular head, the is more related on the because it comes next. For another the is there, that is also more related. On to on relation is there. So kind of like we kind of create relationship between words in the same sentence or words between the sentences. Sorry, sentence A and sentence B. If you see mat is ending. So after mat, what you can expect is mostly the end. But if I say a different layer, is it changing? Okay, it is A to B. So B to A, it won't give. Sat, cat. Okay, it's giving only separators. Layer 10, layer 2. Layer 2, the connections are pretty weak. So like that, we calculate. See here, this is a kind of like complete picture. In multiple layers, multiple heads. 11 layers, each color is a different head, means different perspective. Sometimes we focus on punctuation, sometimes we focus on verbs, sometimes articles, sometimes nouns, sometimes pronouns, and so on. So this is how it works. So this is the complete model anyway. So neural network, we'll see it slightly later. But anyway, if you see a particular layer for this is the query. Let me click on it. So its corresponding key value and Q and K. See, after forget about what is softmax. It is hard to explain what is softmax now, but it's kind of related to cat. So the is related to cat. Next focus, maybe another dark thing is the cat is there. The rug is also dark. Maybe if I select on is mostly related to multiple things. On maybe to lay, on rug. So this is kind of relationship. I'll just stop this with one more visualization. So if you want to look at what an LLM looks inside completely, this visualization is very good. LLM visualization, we call it. This link is there. I'll briefly explain how to work with it. So this is called a nano GPT. So if you go or scroll it down, it kind of gives explanations. If you click on these spaces with animation, it explains each layer. Let me click on a layer to see. If I want to know how embedding work, I just press space here. So it explains how embedding is done, then how token embedding is done, then how position embedding and token embedding are converted into vectors. See, they are added, matrices are added to form input and positioning embedded. Like that, it is done for all the values. So like that, you can go through it. If we just drag it up, see next, these are the so-called attention calculators. See here, it is in multiple layers. In each layer, we have a Q matrix or Q vector, K vector, and V vector. From them, attention matrix is calculated. Then finally, attention projection is given. This is attention projection. Then this is the neural network. So this is the entire transformer. So that is done multiple times. And lastly, a softmax is used to convert this numerical values into a meaningful sentence, right? So this is called nano GPT, which is having very less layers. Then this is called GPT small. GPT-2 small compared with nano GPT, if you observe, this big it is, that many layers are there. GPT-2 XL, if you compare, this is even bigger. If you compare it with GPT-3, I can't even see nano GPT here. It is even less than a small sand grain. See how big GPT-3 neural network model is. That's why to execute these kind of models, we require huge amounts of computational power. On normal computers, we cannot execute these models. Once the training is done and the model is ready, it is okay. But the thing is that they require a lot of computations, and that is repeatedly done in multiple layers. This is just GPT-3. Assume how GPT-4 mini and GPT-4 will be there, and that beta version GPT-5, how it might look like. So just imagine the scale. So where can we use LLMs? Maybe in 2 minutes we'll close. Firstly, of course, in data transformations for summarization, translation, all these kinds of things, we can use them. We have seen applications also. Natural language interfaces, like a kind of chatbots. For example, if you go to Amazon or Flipkart or any particular online vendors, they stopped giving or they stopped maintaining call centers. Even though they are there, their number is reduced. Before calling a call center guy on Amazon, first you have to chat with an AI chatbot, explaining what your problem is. Then it automatically tries to solve your problem. If it is not solved, then only it connects you to a particular employee. So half of the job is taken over by LLM models now. LLM responds just like a call center employee. Then, of course, we have workflow automations, where in factories kind of things, almost without any manual intervention, if everything can be done. As I said, if you maintain a car painting workshop, that requires a lot of manual things also. Maybe to load the car into, to remove. So for these kind of things, we require a lot of manual intervention. But if LLMs are integrated, it is something like when a customer comes in, he leaves his ID proof at the entry gate. So it automatically opens a kind of ticket for him. Then it asks him on a screen, what do you want to do? I want to paint my car. Which color? Maybe he will be given some palettes. So based on the palettes, it automatically mixes colors in the background. The car will be fed into an automatic, what do we call that, conveyor, where it's parts which don't require painting are automatically covered with films and all. Then the paint job is done on all sides. Then it is automatically dried up. After the job is done, the customer will get a message saying that your job is done. You can come and pick it up. When he tries to pick up a car, it again asks for his ID verification so that he don't picks up some fancy car that is available there. Then maybe he is asked to do a payment with credit card or UPI. After the payment is done, his car automatically comes before him. Just imagine how beautiful it will be. This can be done. 100% this can be implemented with LLMs. It is practically possible, not at a workshop level, but in most of the manufacturing industries, most of the production lines are automated in this way. So this kind of definitely these automated workflows will take out a lot of jobs, but co-pilots are the good guys. As you can imagine, it's a co-pilot, not the pilot. People who know about aviation terminology and what happens in taking up a plane, there will be two guys, pilot and co-pilot. Pilot is the serious guy, or pilot is the prime responsible guy. Co-pilot assists him. So pilot just checks the things whether they are running smoothly or not, but co-pilot will do all the necessary operations. In the same way, without taking out human from the model, what happens in co-pilots is, as we have seen, I am the person who is traveling from, let us say, Bhimavaram to Hyderabad tomorrow. So without me, work is not done. So I just asked Microsoft Copilot to give me possible options. It gave me several options. What if, like, if I ask it to reserve a seat on Visakha Express, it automatically reserves the seat for me, so that I can directly go to the station and do the things. So how beautiful it will be. So that can be done with co-pilots. Actually, that maybe travel reservations are not done, but Copilot, Microsoft Copilot can do a lot of other things for you. It can set an alarm in your laptop. Just try it out after the presentation. So what we can do with these LLMs for education or in the teaching learning process. First thing, if you are looking for online learning solutions kind of thing, they are very good for creating personalized learning content. Not everyone in the class can understand what we speak from the dais. So maybe a student who is well versed or following all the things, who is strong in foundations, can understand everything. But what about the media code students who don't know how the foundations are, who cannot understand the quick fluency you are speaking on the days? Usually we don't have that immediate feedback method in the classrooms, but all the education systems, even this so-called NBA, NAC, everyone asks you to focus on student-centered learning. How can we create that? Is with the help of these kind of LLMs. You ask LLM to create maybe 3 varieties of lecture notes. One for the toppers, where contents along with additional resources will be there. One for the normal students, only contents with simple explanation are there. One for the maybe dull students, where contents are created in very layman's language so that everybody can understand, or with illustrations so that he can easily understand. So that can be done. Or you create an online platform where the student is first tested on some basics. Based on that, his next videos and things are presented. Next, we have content creation. As I said just now, that's the best example. You created 3 different notes. You created content for your exams, or you created a question paper. So those kind of things we can easily do with LLMs. I'll show anyway. Interactive tools, of course, all the time we cannot be sitting next to a student to solve his questions. What if he goes back to his residence and tries to review what is discussed in the class and he gets it out? He cannot immediately get back to you, right? Because you're also back in your residence and not in office hours. Maybe if you design an AI chatbot so that he can pose that question to that chatbot and chatbot can rectify his doubts. Even if it cannot, it forwards it to you so that you can discuss it in next day's class. Maybe tomorrow I'll explain on how to create a interactive chatbot for your students. And finally, of course, one of the toughest job what we face today is correcting all those question papers in a less number of time. We have internal papers, lab papers for multiple courses, quiz papers, descriptive papers, assignments, and of course final examination papers. So all these things, we are also human beings, we cannot do that much laborious work. Maybe if you kind of like automate certain things which LLM can, definitely it eases your burden. So out of these, maybe content creation and all we can do. Is it okay if I go with maybe a minute, not more than a minute?
Sir, no problem, sir.
Okay, Andy, thank you. So quickly explain how to do that. So while working with, oh, sorry, because ChatGPT 4 thing is over, I cannot upload PDFs here. I can copy paste something. Would be nice, maybe. Gemini itself I can show. Okay, we'll do one thing, sir. So today anyway I cannot do it. Maybe tomorrow, because my first session is mine itself. We'll focus more on this whatever left to go today, and we'll discuss about ML and DL models as well. Right. So please excuse me for that. So tomorrow we'll continue on how to generate content specific to your particular course and a timeline and all. So before I conclude, we need to also to keep in mind these things before we try to implement LLMs into any application, not just education, of course. First thing is the bias. As I said, based on the data itself, it gives answers. In ChatGPT itself, you can try. If you ask a question about New York, it gives a lot of information. But you ask similar question about Vemovaram, it cannot. Why? Because data is more about the more data is there about New York, but not about Bhimavaram. At the same time, if you ask to suggest kind of things, maybe recipes and other things, online we usually find Western recipes more, sandwiches, burgers, and so on. What about we guys who are fed up with that rice and curries? We do have recipes, but unfortunately, these LLMs fail in that aspect because they have more data on Westernized recipes or recipes from other countries. So if that thing also happens with a particular race or ethnicity, that might result in a kind of bias problems in your content, what you're going to generate. We don't take it much seriously in our places, but if you go for any big companies or so, if there is a text always using the word he, they don't accept. Why? Because it is more inclined towards male. What if the reader is a female? So there should never be a he or she. It should be in a generalized, the reader, the user kind of sentences should be there. But if the data is such, LLM can't do anything. So we have to be careful with those kind of things. At the same time, when you're feeding LLMs with so much data, your personal data also might be there. What if the data is given as output to someone else? LLM just takes the data, uses it as a repository, trains on that and gives output. If my data is there saying that if I am born in, let us say 1989, so if that data is fed into my chat GPT, if someone asks that give me a list of people who are born in 1989 along with other celebrities list, what if my name is also popped out? So my personal information is being leaked to other people without my consent. So which is a very big serious issue. So we have to be very much particular about what we are feeding the model with. And of course, we cannot rely on any particular LLM for 100%. I have shown you multiple examples. LLM fail in so many cases. You just take what is the output of LLM, use your brain, use your knowledge, try to assess whether that output is correct or not, then only go for the next step or present it to someone else. Along with these, we do have some practical challenges. First thing is, of course, in COVID time, we have seen this difficulty with students and faculty who are residing in rural areas. They don't have strong network connectivity. So they face a lot of difficulty in joining the classes. Even today, we are seeing some people maybe after the class will approach Kamesh sir or other organizers saying that, sorry, sir, my internet is bad today. I couldn't join. Please consider my attendance. So if you kind of migrate to 100% LLM models, so students who don't have these digital access will be losing. So we have to be kind of create a balanced model which have a human part and of course LLMs. And only in places where that connectivity issues are not there. Otherwise, we are going to face problems with users trying to access but not possible. So that's all about today. So kind of like we try to leverage what are LLMs, how they work and how they can be used into classrooms. Of course, still we are left with a small exercise that anyway, we'll start with that in tomorrow's presentation. So these are the references, as I said, not just these, wherever we have these, see on these, visualizations also, I placed hyperlinks here. You can just click on them and access them, and all the LLM models which I discussed on them also, I had these hyperlinks embedded. You just click on them and access those websites for more information. So if you have any questions, maybe quickly we'll go through that. Then we'll conclude. This is not a question, rather. Okay, very good afternoon. So any questions, sir? You don't need to type your name also here. That's another advantage with Slido. People can anonymously ask questions, especially students will be more interested in this. They will give, they will be eager to give anonymous feedback so that faculty don't remember their name and reduce their marks. Even though we don't usually do that, but they have that in that mind. Yeah, anyway, any more questions, sir? If you have, quickly type down Slido, otherwise we'll close it.
Dear participants, any chat, please type in the chat box.
Yeah, in the chat box or Slido, or maybe you can unmute and ask. Everything is okay for me.
Sir, there is a question. Should I scan the?
Yeah, I am going through.
Please check in the chat box, sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So to type it in Slido, first you have to scan and join, ma'am. Otherwise, you will type it here in the chat box. Or you please unmute and speak. It saves a lot of time.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Yeah, there are AI tools for code conversions, ma'am. Maybe in tomorrow's class, I'll explain that part as well. But as I said, we have to be very much vigilant about it. Yeah. You can convert from C to MATLAB on many of these tools, what I explained, but Jasper is a good one. On Jasper, you can easily do it. On Gemini and ChatGPT also, you can do it, but you have to be assured about how good that code is or how correct that code is. Because the problem is that if you type your code by yourself, if it is easy for correction because you know where what is there and why it is written. But if you convert code from one thing into other thing, and if there are any errors, it will be difficult for you. Only keep that in mind. Otherwise, there are so many tools. Especially, I think GPT, sorry, not GPT. What is that? GitHub. In GitHub, LLM is also there. That is a very good model for converting code. So I'll just type it in the chat. Along with that, Jasper is a good tool. You can use any of these or simply ChatGPT. These three can be used for code conversion. But as I said, even those tools are also not sure about whether the code is correct or not. You have to get it corrected by someone who knows the language. Any more queries? If there are no queries, we'll stop it here. How can we guarantee whether the data given by AL tools are authentic? As I said, there is no shortcut for it as of now. ChatGPT, Gemini, and what is that, Copilot? We cannot rely on those super LLMs which give answers for everything. But Elicit, which gives only research-based answers, and DeepL, which only deals with grammar. So those kind of tools are a bit okay. I don't say 100% correct, but 99.99% the result is okay. Except those, you cannot guarantee that whether something, the data is authentic or not. Because they are machines, they usually don't get something out of nothing and gives it to you. They follow an algorithm and usually give information what is there. But we know that how much misinformation is there on internet. As faculty members, we see it on daily basis as a form of forwarded messages and whatnot. So a lot of misinformation is there. If your model is fed with misinformation, it gives incorrect results. We cannot guarantee that results are authentic. Any more questions? Is it possible to develop a new cryptographic algorithm based on the existing ones? Yes, sir, 100% it is possible, but don't do it with LLMs, because LLMs can give some output based on what is there already. They create something like they create an essay and kind of thing. They are not that good at creating some new algorithm, cryptographic algorithm. My research is also on cryptographic algorithms only. If you want to reach out, maybe my number is here. Sorry, not my number. My email is here. Usually I don't respond to calls, so drop an email if you want. So if possible, I'll get back to you. So if that's all about the questions, we'll stop it here. So tomorrow I'll try to maybe log in from my home itself, so we don't get these kind of network glitches, because we have too much to cover tomorrow also.
Sir, one doubt I had posted already. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So whatever assignments we give, the students seek the help of ChatGPT only. So
Yes.
then how to combat this?
AI-based
It's not
content.
originality and creativity of the student is lost, right? When
Yes,
they
ma'am.
use-
Yes. That drawback is there, ma'am. Especially what is the problem? What I faced in this semester itself is I thought advanced data structures course for second years here. So a lot of students, they typed the exercise on ChatGPT and they got the question from there. So most of them got executed, but at the end, when they faced this external lab examination, they were unable to execute anything. Why? Because they didn't design that code. They don't remember anything at all. So they, if they by heart it, they can do it. In the same way, if student answers an assignment with ChatGPT, obviously it's a big hurdle for us. But the thing is that you just tell them that if they do it, they will be the losers. Second thing is, ma'am, there are tools available to identify if it is AI based content or not, especially in tools like Turnitin and Grammarly. They have, along with plagiarism score, they also have this AI score. If AI score is more, it is from a tool, AI generated content. But if it is manually written assignments and all, there are some flags to identify AI generated contents. First thing is, we know they are students, their English won't be that high and accurate. If the content is 100% accurate, you have to doubt. That will be the first red flag. They will be using strange vocab, which they usually don't use, polished terms and formal language. That is one another thing. And obviously, one thing is if the question is difficult and they easily answered it, that is also a red flag for you. We cannot kind of like reduce their score saying that this is AA based content, but you can warn them. Say, I can identify that this is AA based. Don't do that. Repeat the assignment kind of thing we can do. As I said, in your response itself, I identified that it's from Google. Why? Because there is a hyphen and all. While typing, we don't be that professional about hyphens, colons, and semicolons. So those are the red flags. Anything else, sir? Yeah. Thank you, everyone. See you
Okay, sir.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And
Thank you, sir.
tomorrow you are having session at 2 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 o'clock
We'll
itself.
start by 2 o'clock itself.
Yes, sir.
I request all the participants, please log in by 1:50. Then
Yeah.
we can start our session as early as
So
possible.
I'll also
Okay, you
join,
are having
join
session by 2 to 3:30, sir, tomorrow.
2 to 3:30. Okay, sir. 2.5 hours.
3:30,
So
sir.
we can have some buffer time for
Sir,
whatever left
1.5
today.
hour. Sorry, only 1.5 hours, sir. 2 to 3:30.
2 to 3:30. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So this is a very good session, sir. It's very useful for us. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.